Thank you so much, Sarah. It's great to be here. That's a brilliant introduction. Thank you. As you say, I'm a social worker in the Northwest, and I'm just here tonight to talk about that role, really. So, as social workers, we continuously see the impact of austerity on the families and individuals we support. People living in communities deprived of resources, being exploited by greedy landlords, experiencing poor physical and mental health, and treading the water of poverty. The rising cost of food makes shopping infrequent, and many rely on the food bank vouchers we give them. I've recently learned that the high demand upon our local food bank has led to it only allowing 6 vouchers in 6 months per person, so that too is now becoming a diminishing resource. Poor transport networks in less central areas and lack of money leads to people being isolated at home, which in turn leads to fuel poverty, exacerbated by the loss of the winter fuel payment and inability to pay bills. People frequently tell me about their fear of eviction, of their benefits being suspended, and of the additional hardship caused by the two-child benefit cap. Add to this deliberately imposed austerity, the blaming and othering of people in receipt of the benefits that we're all entitled to, and the suggestion that if only people were more resilient and self-sufficient, they'd be free to work hard and progress. Is there any wonder mental health is a major crisis linked to poverty and deprivation? All things John MacDonald describes as Labour's toxic inheritance. Advocacy services, women's aid, drug and alcohol advice, community centres, youth clubs, and even libraries are no longer places that we as social workers can refer people to enable additional support for their mental health, their well-being, safety and knowledge. The way I see it, social workers are supporting people to navigate the managed decline of the services vital to communities. And of course, austerity impacts upon social workers too. There's no us and them as far as I'm concerned. We and the families we support are working class people. We live and work in the same communities, and we are all victims of austerity. The loss of services makes the job of social work more and more difficult. We're frequently initiating packages of care and support, knowing only too well that additional support from third sector resources is limited or non-existent, having been starved of funding. As social workers, we often feel guilty of giving false hope when we encourage people to interact in communities and make use of services, knowing that the resources aren't likely to be there. All of this, alongside the crisis in the recruitment and retention of social workers, continues to create challenges for the profession. But there are many comparisons between social work and trade unionism. Both are a passionate force for equality and both retain a gritty strength and optimism. So why is this campaign important to our trade unions? Because there's hope in collectivism. As trade unionists, I think we have a duty to incorporate our organising skills and knowledge into conversations, not only with our colleagues, but with the individuals and families we support. Knowledge is power, and we shouldn't assume that people will know what trade unionism is. Post-Thatcher, our history is less known. As social workers too, we're in positions to challenge the far-right rhetoric penetrating working class culture, and we can educate, not in a patronising way, but with a rights-based and radical social work focus on the misleading and oppressive nature of some political ideologies. Knowledge and understanding of the trade union movement and how and why it evolved provides us with a basis for conversations about equality, oppression, politics and class. We can encourage empowerment through group advocacy without the focus on individual resilience, which is simply a means to tolerate rather than fight austerity. We can be honest with people, let them know why their services are being cut and how communities can stand together through collectives such as Unite in the Community, Acorn Tenant Support, and this campaign. With a focus on working class collectivism, we can challenge inequality by sharing knowledge and encouraging activism. These are the reasons why this campaign is important, and these are the things that give us hope. I know we're pushed for time, Sarah, so I'm going to leave it there, even though it could go on.